Memorial Day, and I hope everyone enjoyed some great family time and some get togethers over Memorial Day weekend. Hey, I have one of the best guests joining us today, Lori Richardson. She is the CEO and founder of Score More Sales. She also is the founder and does things for Women's Sales Pros, which I'm a part of. And she does, there's a group of She Sells, and that is all women's group that comes in to really empower young women today to get into sales and sales leadership. So help me welcome Lori Richardson to the stream today.
Woo-hoo. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Lori. You are truly a mentor of mine, one that I know I've been knocking on the door to be a part of Women's Sales Pros for such a long time. And I just want to thank you for being here. So thank you.
My pleasure. It's great to be here, Paula. And I love your show. It's like a lot of fun.
So tell me a little bit more about yourself. How did you start in really advocating for women in sales?
Well, I got into sales in the 80s, actually, the early 80s. As a matter of fact, I sold technology, and I did that as a single parent. I was working as a teacher, and I became a single parent, and I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't support myself on close to minimum wage, which is unfortunately what a lot of teachers, at least back then, I know it varies in different levels of education, but working with young kids, it doesn't pay well. And so I got into sales, and I've had such a wonderful career. And when I ended up starting my own consulting company, I realized right around 2015 that I was presenting to almost all men, and I was still working in technology and SaaS and manufacturing and distribution and all sorts of different industries, but there were hardly any women, and in particular, women leaders. So it actually happened that I walked into a meeting that I was doing a 2-day training, and I had only seen the leaders separately in their offices up and down the East Coast. And I had never seen everybody together. And I think that it just jarred me when everyone was in the room. I walked in, I went to the restroom, came back, and it was out of about 100 people, there were maybe 4 or 5 women. And these are sales managers, and they weren't doing technical sale. This wasn't a technical sale. Anybody could have been a sales manager in this group. And so I just was stunned, and I just thought, where are the women? So I started doing research, started looking at everybody that was out there trying to help women, and Women's Sales Pros morphed from being a simple group, not a simple, but a group of sales experts like what you're in, our roundtable group. We expanded it to include helping companies to find, hire, train, and retain women in sales and in sales leadership.
That's simply amazing. I will tell you, because you know me, I came from the distribution background with veterinary and healthcare and all of those. And it was challenging seeing, not many women in those leadership roles. And, I think that there for a while, there was some connotation or some, that maybe women couldn't handle it, or maybe women weren't the right fit, didn't have the grit or the drive. But I would beg to differ on that. How about you?
Yeah, I was very lucky in that my first sales job way back when was such an exciting time for technology, and people who wanted to buy were getting in line. They actually had to put deposits down to get some of the tech that was coming out. So it was really fun. And I had male and female peers, and we all worked together. We were young and we had a great time. It was my second job when I went to a company that would pay me more, that was a little more of a field sales role.
Mhm.
And this company had never hired a woman in field sales, and it was enterprise sales. And so it was very difficult for me to win them over to give me a chance. But ultimately I did. And it was after that that I had a couple of other roles where it was definitely an issue being a woman, where they didn't think maybe I could handle it. In my case, with the second job that I had to really fight to get hired for, I was a single mom, and they held that against me till the day I left the company. And by the way, instead of suing them for many things that they did because I was a single parent, I ended up just taking the business away and going to a competitor. So I didn't want to sue them. And so, but it was difficult to be thought of as, well, you can't travel as much as, Bob, our other guy. And that just, it wasn't true, and it wasn't fair. And it really gave me a sense of, what women can go through, what anybody that's not the main hire for that role.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. Way back when, and probably not so long ago, women were, including myself, thought to be motherly, right? Thought
Yeah.
to be not just motherly, but thought to be kind of squishy, right?
Yeah.
Comfort. And I would love to say that, I would do anything for my mother. So until I learned that that was a nurturing factor rather than a bad thing,
Yeah.
that being that nurturing type of leader and really putting your people first is what makes leaders successful, men and women. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I remember talking with you a long time back about, don't let people call you the mom on the team, right? You're not their mom. This is not a family.
No.
Sales, your work environment, I don't care what role you have, it's not your family. And if you don't believe me, just wait till layoffs hit,
Yeah.
because then everybody wants to be distanced. And yeah, but you need to have those traits that allow for empathy, and to be able to put yourself in your rep's shoes.
Mhm.
You just don't, you're not a parent though.
No, exactly. But even the term, and I think I write about this in my book, is even the term for me was a negative label until I switched it around, because it wasn't that I was motherly. I was never anybody's mother or mom or family. It was the caring, the nurturing, the side B.
Yeah.
Now, you are in my book, and I will say one of your favorite songs that you told me was Miley Cyrus's The Climb.
I love
Tell
this.
me why you like that one so much.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. It's just very uplifting. I'm all about being asset based and not deficit based. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It's you know today is a new day. What are you gonna do? Even if you have a bad morning, you can turn it around at noontime. And I think that her song is really about the climb. It's about the journey, and that's what sales has always been to me. So it's definitely one of my favorites. And I love anything with vibraphones in it. With a vibra-
Really?
yeah, in fact, one that's really nice for summer right now is Roy Ayers. Everybody Loves the Sunshine. It's a
Okay. I'll have to give that
beautiful,
one a listen.
beautiful, beautiful song. I'm one of those people that if I a lot of people don't hear the subliminal music that's going on in grocery stores and when you're in shopping somewhere, but I always hear it. And if I hear vibes, telling you, it's amazing. Or a marimba, because that's what I played.
Really? And isn't
Yeah.
it's like deep in your soul, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And music can transport you in a moment's notice and just really bring you back to not only nostalgia but to motivation, to focus, to clarity, and that's what I love about music. Looks like,
Creativity.
yes, creativity quite a bit. um, we've got Vicky on here, in the early 80s. That was great.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Yep. Amy Baylog is on talking about this.
Uh,
So women can handle it. I love the comments coming in. Keep them coming in, people. Because Lori is amazing, and she's been talking about women in sales. I think you have a new kind of slogan for women in sales.
I do. Let me show it to you. These are my new stickers.
Oh, more women, more sales, right?
Very simple.
Very simple.
That's my keynote. That's the name of one of my keynotes.
Okay.
It's more women, more sales.
More women, more sales.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. So, what do you think will take over the next 3 to 5 years to see more women leaders really gaining into that sales role? Because we know that sales, you and I both know, sales is a grind. Once your month is done, you barely look on, you see your results, and you're on to the next goal.
Yep.
What's one thing that somebody could take away?
Yeah, it is a grind, and yet it's also so entrepreneurial, and it's an opportunity for you to make something out of nothing, to build a territory and then own that territory, own your path and sales. And that's what's so great about it. So I always feel that the tough stuff it doesn't outweigh the highlights, the great things, the fact that you are the queen, or king, if you're male listening to this, of your domain, you have your territory. It's as close to being an entrepreneur as possible. And I just think that that's a really great thing. Now, to get more women leaders, we need more companies to figure out interesting ways to do that. And one example is, I've worked with Outreach, who they created a program internally for their own women to help elevate them to the next level, because they hired recruiters, they were looking for women in higher leadership positions to come in, and they just didn't have enough. The pipeline's not big enough yet. And so they decided that they would build their own leaders. So they put a program in place, and they've been doing that. They just had their first cohort, and between that and programs like Girls Club, which I know you're very involved in, Paula, as I am. Other programs that are building leaders, Girls Who Sell, they're working on getting women in younger to and help develop them. So I've never seen as much effort going into so many different groups. And there's Women in Revenue and the National Association of Women Sales Professionals, and so many different groups that and people who are working on this, that I believe we hit a turning point where companies are going to do more, and women are not going to settle for not being promoted, and they're going to find ways through our outside organizations or within. They're going to start a group within their own company, and
Mhm.
and all of it together, it's going to come together, and it's going to make a change for the better.
I love that. And, I do offer workshops for that as well. But a career that soars is another one out there, too. And I know that you've got a whole book on this, all these ones that you work with on your She Sells, which I think is such a great uh,
Yeah. So
title to that. Where
yeah,
can somebody find that?
Well, She Sells started as a summit. So the domain is shesellssummit.com. And we're going to have another She Sells Summit in November. We had one in April, She Sells Leadership Summit. And there are going to be more and more resources there that talk up all the different groups that are, like I said, the external groups. And as we identify internal groups in companies, we will showcase them as well. So if anybody listening knows of a company that has a great program for their women in sales, please let me know and we'll talk about it. Also, we just started a newsletter that's going twice a month. It's coming out tomorrow. And we talk about books, we talk about podcasts, we talk about feature people, and we're going to have all sorts of great things as we go on. And my hope is that it ultimately will become a weekly and not just an every other week.
I love that. And we know so many women that have put out books, and I believe you have one coming out.
Yes, yes, my book She Sells will be out very soon, and
Yep.
and that's basically just the answers to the questions that so many people struggle with to find, hire, recruit, and retain women.
I love that. Find, hire, recruit, and retain women.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now let's play a game. I've got my little magic leadership ball here. Okay.
Right.
You tell me when to stop, and my thumb will give me the question to ask you.
Stop.
All right. What previous job experience best prepared you to become a woman leader?
Oh, definitely preschool teacher. I worked with 2-year-olds. Imagine having 12 2-year-olds in a room all day, 5 days a week with 2 assistants.
I
You can do that.
I've done that.
Yeah, you can do anything. And we were very creative. We were fun. We were energetic. I mean, it truly is one of the toughest jobs out there, caring for young children.
Yeah.
And I loved every minute of it. I just couldn't afford to support myself doing it. And especially at the point when I had a 2-year-old of my own at home, I'll never forget. That's when I started going a little cuckoo. It's when I got a part-time waitressing job in the evening.
Yeah. Just to get you out just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember those 2 and 3-year-olds. I think I had the 3-year-old class for two years that I did that while my kids were going to preschool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great experience.
It is. But
Really.
What I love about it is that you get to shape, mold, and inspire. And I think that's what really great leaders do.
Yeah, and the thing I didn't like about it was that at the time, it's when I lived in Seattle, I worked at the University of Washington. So this was a childcare center for the university students from all over the world. And I never saw the finished product, you know. I don't know what happened to any of these kids. I worked with maybe 100, but it's sad that I couldn't see them grown up.
I know. There's one I did get to see them because a couple of them were in my kids' grade as they were going up, and one became a professional soccer player for
Wow.
this crew, and now he's off with something else, and just got married. So that was fun.
Wow.
Watching that, and it's so neat. All right, one more. You ready?
Yep.
You're gonna tell me when?
Stop.
As a leader, how do you maintain or try to maintain a healthy balance in your life?
Ooh, that word balance, I just don't think many of us have that. And so why try to make a balance if you don't focus on what you're doing? I do believe that you can have it all if you are doing it with certain things at one time. So for example, if I want to focus on parenting, then I do that. And it's not the same time that I'm going to put my all into my projects at work.
Mhm.
If I want to excel at work, I need some support parenting. And I know some great women that have, I mean, my son is grown, but I know women right now that are single parents that have multiple kids. I know one woman that has 3 kids, and she has au pairs. She has an au pair that lives with them and has had up to 2 au pairs at one time for different. She's in sales leadership,
Mhm.
and she does an amazing job at work, and she doesn't drop the ball, and she's an amazing parent as well. So it you know you can put it together. I think that's the creative piece, that you need to always be thinking, okay, if this is not working, having problems between dealing, with the kids or the family, and getting my balance so that I can be a better worker. I also believe that mental health issues are real, and it's easy for me to say because I don't have a serious mental health issue at this moment, let's just say.
Yeah.
And um and it's not a matter of just sucking it up and figuring it out. I mean, there are people with some real issues, dealing with depression, dealing with overload, and that's when you need to get some professional input and get some help on that. And it really does take a village to raise a family and work. So get the resources, build out your, figure out what's missing and add that somehow. And even if you just brainstorm over the summer, like, how could I solve this? Like it's a puzzle. That's the way I solve a lot of issues.
I love that. I love the puzzle. And you are so right. I mean, there is a lot of mental illness and mental health that needs to be addressed. Even with my dyslexia, and that is not even near, depression and some other mental health challenges. Now,
Yeah.
I've been through depression.
Yeah.
Still fighting that every single day. But here's the thing is just like I talk about in the book for side B, it's not just balancing work life. It's balancing who you are to
Yeah.
bring your unique leader to that perspective so that you can have focus and you can have creativity. You can, excuse me, you can have all of those things as long as it's unique to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You got to be, you can't suppress who you are.
Right.
uh, it's too hard. We did that, in the beginning in sales, where we wore the suits with the padded shoulders and tried to mimic what the guys do, but that ultimately didn't work for me or a lot of other people. And it's okay to put flowers on your desk, and it's okay to be who you are, because it's really important.
It is. And that's where I would love to go with this because, we, as we bring our own uniqueness into, and I'm not talking just women's uniqueness, but male uniqueness as well. I
Yeah.
mean, people who can uncover what their natural abilities are have opened their eyes to see something different. And that's where you can tap into music to help you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Do you wake up right now and go sit on the porch or do something to start your day to get you motivated? Or are you one that gets up, gets going, and the drive has begun?
Well, I go swimming several times a week. So right now there's a shortage of lifeguards across the country. I don't know if people knew that.
Didn't know that.
So my schedule is getting a little bit altered. So, but typically that's what I do a few days a week, and I wake up motivated. I'm fortunate in that way that I don't need anything to motivate me. Sure, I'll have a cup of coffee, but I will get a couple of things done around the house, and then I just go right into, um, you know, my routine. That I do have a process that I use to get things accomplished, because otherwise I would drop too many things.
And that's what a good entrepreneur does, right? That's what a good sales leader does. That's what a good leader does, is they have their points, right?
Yeah.
I am a get out of bed, get a shower, get going, drink my coffee when I was going to work, and get there and get going and spend the rest of the day going through all of the processes and all the projects and those kind of things. That just works for me. I'm not one who can bring in the mornings slowly.
Yeah. Right. Me too.
Just
Me
put
too.
up good music for me and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm an early bird, so I love waking up. As soon as I wake up, I'm ready to go.
Yep. Yep. Let's see, we've got Amy on here, and then she even said she remembers those shoulder
Yeah,
taps. That's hilarious.
that's right.
Amy, my executive coach, who really helped me get through learning some of the things that I wasn't able to see as a leader. If you were to go back in time, Lori, and just ask yourself, what is one thing, teach yourself one thing to help you become the sales leader faster than you did today, what would it be?
I was an individual contributor for a long time and I really liked it. And I was never tapped on the shoulder by anybody to do anything. And so it's funny because I became a leader on my own. And I think if I wish I had just thought more about what my career options might be. I really didn't have anyone. I didn't get good career guidance at all, and that's okay. I mean, I made a lot of money. I did well in that regard, but I never really thought of a career path. And the great thing about my last corporate job that I had in Boston was that I created two positions that they had never had before, and both were really successful.
Mhm.
And so I think, I figured it out on my own, but maybe if I did it sooner, I mean, who knows what other roles I would have had.
Or created, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that's what we still do today is we put our head down,
yeah,
we get the results, we do what's expected of us, and
yeah.
uh, hope and pray that we will get tapped on the shoulder.
I,
And
I would have never thought to say to my boss, I want your job. What do I need to do to get it? Because I would have thought that was threatening, or too ambitious. I mean, that's what we would be considered too ambitious if we were too outspoken, right? So it's just so silly now when you look back. I mean, that companies should be thrilled to have ambitious people, whether they're men or women. And so yeah, I would have been a little more outspoken. I mean, I grew up with a dad who told both the sons and the daughters, don't make waves,
oh,
just go with the flow, and don't stand out in any way. That's the way we were raised.
yep, that's the way I was raised, just except from the swimming pool, get on the block, do your job, get the first prize, win, be competitive,
Right, you were a swimmer. Yeah,
don't make waves. And I'm
yeah.
like, I'm going to be making waves,
Waves. Yeah.
right? Oh, Lori, thank you so much. Is there one piece of advice that you would give to all the listeners looking to become women in sales? I think we
build
talked about, but
build
leaders.
build your brand on LinkedIn. Have an opinion, speak up. And if you don't know what to say, just start echoing and talking up other people whose points you admire.
That's a great point. So thank you very much. I think we have one last comment here. Let's look here. Performance self knows how to plow forward.
That's
Thank
right,
you,
Amy.
Amy. Yes. And
Yeah.
we do. We have, here's one more before
And
we go.
thank you, Vicky, for your sticker, putting the sticker on.
Yeah, Vicki, that was amazing.
My
Vincent,
daughters.
Vincent Catanzaro. He's fabulous.
They all make waves.
They all make waves.
That's great. Good for you.
Thank you again, Lori. I appreciate you
Thanks, Paula.
And have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you on Friday for a special LinkedIn Live with Hannah Elliott. So we'll see you on Friday.
Fantastic. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.